Hey there, everyone. Welcome to this morning's edition, the MPC Markets Morning Call. It's Monday, 17th of August. Morning, Phil.
Morning, Mark. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. It was a pretty slow mixed night on Friday. Look, Dow and S&P down small, and we get sold off into the end of the week. The Russell was still up a little bit, but that's basically on rate bets for being on hold increasing. We had a weak a weak retail sales number. So it was down 0.6 month on month in July versus up 0.1 expected. It's the biggest drop in over a year. And the Michigan consumer sentiment dropped to 51 versus 55 expected. So that's kind of ended 2 months of improvement. And that was coming off the worst reading in the 55-year history of the figures. So inflation expectations kind of edged up. CPI and PPI both decelerated obviously during the week. With 67% chance of a hold in SEP now. It was 56% a week ago. And Fed's Barkin was saying that the labour market is vulnerable and inflation may be drifting lower on its own by its own devices. But basically, Iran, Strait of Hormuz, still at a standstill. Although I don't know who it was. It was one of the Trump stooges. Basically on Friday said that it was at normal. And it's verified sources at absolute best. It's maybe at around about a quarter to a third. And there's a lot of talk about them being tanker traffic is actually at a trickle. So those traffic numbers can also be cargo ships. So not just tankers. And obviously you're probably just a little bit more hesitant driving a ship of flammable liquid rather than cargo. So Iran's demanding end of hostilities, unfreeze all assets, blah blah blah. The Houthis are continuing their attacks at Bab el Mandeb, which is that second strait as well. Trump's made more threats. Who'd have thought? So that's still going on. I mean, we're probably just, given the market doesn't seem to care, we'll just cover that today. We won't have to cover it for the rest of the week, unless there's something major happens. We had pullback in software in the middle there. AMD was up, and it was one of the bigger movers on the S&P. Workday was up 18%, and I probably just drifted back off on that news for the private equity bid. The chips in the bottom left corner there, were the only real green patch, to be honest. And the industrials there in the bottom right hand corner, but I mean, you have to squint to see those. ASX earnings, mate, Friday.
Yeah, Friday we had QB once again. Insurers were quite on the soft side. So we've seen a pattern of that. The IGA and NRMA, IAG, I should say. Storage killer, I don't know a lot about. Baby bunting was up 22% at one stage. Wow. 5, so that's a bit of a turnaround, but a bit of a quiet sort of Friday. Now we move into the busy period. So here we go.
So we got JB Hi-Fi, NAB, BlueScope. There was talk of potentially on the market index calendar of goods money. Ordinate's posted a $3.6 million loss. It's just, best trade we did at MPC, I think, getting out of Ordinate at $10.50 on earnings a year ago.
Where is it now?
It's gone.
I thought it was 10.
So, good. And then JB Hi-Fi's revenues jumped 5, but look, I mean, there's a bunch of There's a bunch of rates and stuff like that through here. So
I think JB Hi-Fi, that'd be an interesting one because we've seen some weakness in Nick Scali and Adair's. I think they both reported.
Yeah.
And basically all the consumer stocks here have been very weak, basically. So this will be a real test. Out of all those companies, obviously JB Hi-Fi is the best run. It's a really well-run company.
Oh, it's a really good company. And
there was a thought that once Amazon came in, it was gone, but defeated that.
Absolutely.
But this will be a real test to see how the consumer. Well, what it's doing is they're putting their hand in the pocket or keeping the pocket closed.
Yeah, and they would have had that, I suppose, they do get that end of year, financial year.
True, the sales.
That little boost as well. Yep. So BlueScope, I mean, we haven't seen anything from BlueScope. No. Like I said, it may not be today. It is one of those things where the calendar can be a little bit, it is a little bit annoying sometimes.
Yeah.
When the companies don't post their don't post their results dates. So gold was up, silver was up, copper was up, platinum was up. But I mean, look at the range here. It's up 2, down 2.
Yeah.
So pretty quiet night overall. It looks like a big move, but there's no big moves. And we had uranium drift off a little bit. Lithium was slightly better bid. Trump announced some more tariffs actually on Friday against drones. So they saw the drone stocks in the US head higher. RCAT and UMach, they were up like 10 and 25%. And earnings season this earnings season's been 85% have beaten, and it's one of the best earnings seasons in ages. Concerningly, that sort of happened in 01 and 07 as well. But they're because people then get their expectations too far ahead. 10-year bond yields are up 4 basis points to 4.68, still hovering around those highs. UK 10-year was up 8 basis points above 5%. Germans were up 7, 3.2. The euro and the pound are the highest since mid-June and mid-May, while the yen is not. It's at its weakest level in, count your decades. So look, I mean, SPY was down 33 heading into this week. I think we should have a calendar here. Apparently not.
Remix was up. Sorry, Remix was up 3.3+% on Friday night.
Yeah, okay. So we're having a bit of a look at that.
Yep.
We went into the forgotten thematics of 2026. We've sort of covered that critical minerals and rare earths thing on the podcast on Friday. So if you go to fscmarkets.com.au/podcast, you can get on that and have a look there. But because we are running a rare earths or critical minerals enhanced growth investment at the moment, it'll be running for this week. You can go to mpcinvest.co/critical_minerals. So you're getting basically around about 4-to-1 exposure to the REMX ETF in the US. It's S708 only. But yeah, we've had a fairly large pullback there in the critical minerals, and I think Remix is down at least 30% from the high. Even with that sort of bump up, it was down 46% from the highs, and nothing from a policy standpoint's really changed at this point. And we do have a webinar coming up, the AI Age Beyond Data Centers and Enabling AI. For those of you who've watched some of our previous webinars, you'll recognise this roadmap we've done, with the internet age, but we really just sort of trying to, obviously early on in the piece we had GPT and Anthropic, etc., and then obviously the data center build outs, this one, and then we're just looking at what the next phase is going to be in terms of enabling AI, because we're pretty priced in for the build out, and we're sort of starting to think that there's probably more not necessarily a risk to the downside, but certainly not as much upside as what there will likely be in these next phase themes. So it was around about this time last year we were doing hyperscaling AI, and we sort of got on these sort of data center build out thing, and I wrote an article about probably 14 months ago about how raw materials and will be a big winner from especially copper from the data center build out, etc., on Livewire. So I'll chuck out a Livewire article over the next couple of days and have a look at that. But register for the webinar. There'll be a link on the homepage, and you can sign up. Sign up and have a look on Tuesday week. Again, and with all things tech. I'll probably just be interviewing Kai. I'll try to bring a little bit of knowledge, but we all know who we want to listen to there. This week in terms of earnings, obviously BHP, CSL, Cochlear, that'll be a huge day. BHP probably not so much, but that's a pretty pivotal day. CSL and Cochlear for the healthcare sector. Northern Star later in the week. James Hardy. I'm sure there'll be a few more that we've probably forgotten as well. But yeah, we'll. I think what's that? Telix and Stocklands, Santos. So yeah, and then obviously next week's another big week as well. I do believe we've got another. Oh no, that's the last of the banks, NAB, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the last of the banks. So So you can go to the homepage as well, nbcinvest.co/ASX earnings, or it is on the homepage at the moment. But and we're, as always, running our income series. So banks, and we just did a diversified fixed coupon note in CSL Goodman's and Net Wealth, which was around about the 12.5-13% mark, or 13.2, I believe, actually. The banks one runs pretty. So if you're looking for some income, you've been a little bit disappointed with the with dividends this earnings season, which I would imagine you are. Then obviously just go and register your interest in the income section on the website today. Have a great day, people. I think it'll be a relatively quiet day outside of earnings.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
maybe drift off the Fed, maybe a bit more. Maybe touch.
Possibly, yeah. So, I guess we'll speak again tomorrow.
Have a good day, everyone. See ya.